Hey everyone, Michelle Markey with Medina Domestic Arts Studio. And let me see if I can actually zoom out. I'm going to have to even go further out. So this is a new DTF. And there's going to be a whole series of barns and old trucks. Recently, while I was down in the Rio Grande Valley, a couple of gentlemen stopped by my booth, and I had one of these that I had taken down there ostensibly just to show off and let people get a gander at what I was doing, but they liked it so much they went ahead and bought it. And another couple came by, and while the first couple was purchasing the truck, lamented that they did not get a chance to get one themselves. So I actually came home, ordered them, and sent them off today. So I'm coloring this as a sample series. There'll be more. Just to talk about a few things that I'm using here. Pro Chemical and Dye, who is where I get my chemicals for making my fabric medium, they also sell a variety of paint concentrates. And so far what I've used here is simply those. And I'll just pull some out here for you. I think there's the green that I used and some of the dark green up in by the barn. This is the road color. There's part of the clouds. These are all various different, you can see the paint palette there. This actually goes pretty quick. Now, a couple of things that's a bit different than what I have done in the past with, say, my embroidery blocks that we color. The first thing I can point out to you is that I'm doing it on a foam board, and I've got it secured with painter's tape. And that's because there's basically no stabilizer. Oh, and here's something I'm going to have to show you too. It will stick. And my fault, I should have put freezer paper down on top of the foam board. At least this particular foam board's doesn't seem to like paint very well. So I'm going to have to peel this off here in a minute to let it dry in the air so that it doesn't stick to the foam board. So in the future, when I do this, freezer paper and put that down on top of the foam board, then put my work on top of the freezer paper. Now, one of the things you may be noticing is how everything's kind of wrinkly. Totally acceptable. This is the way it is when you paint on a flat surface like this. Now, I have used in the past with smaller versions embroidery hoops that basically keep your work up off a surface and you're kind of painting directly onto the fabric with no support underneath. I'm betwixt and between about that. It works for small items. I don't really think it would be something for this. Now, just to give you an idea of the size here, this piece of fabric is 22 by 24. The actual DTF itself is somewhere in the neighborhood. I know it's 20 inches this way, the height, and I believe it's 22 in its width. In fact, hey, you know what? If I can find a tape measure, hang on here, folks. I apologize, but I'm going to get a tape measure so that you can see this. Yes, I'm sorry. Again, you know my infamous film techniques are not what they should be. Maybe I'll cut that out later on. Okay, yeah, 22 inches one way, and then I know. You guys, I can tell you, I could probably hear you all giggling right now. So it's about 15 one way and 22 the other way. Okay, pretty decent sized, obviously, certainly bigger than an embroidery hoop, although this pattern is an embroidery pattern. Could be stitched out. I believe it is an embroidery library or OESD. I can't recall right off the bat. Don't hold my feet to the fire on this one. But the reason I wanted to do this was my alternative to do bigger pictures would be to put it on the long arm. and that's just not commercially viable. If it were just me, no problem. But because there are all of you out there and you guys like to do these kind of things, the only way I can get bigger sizes is going up to a DTF. So that's it in a nutshell. There'll be more to this as I color it. I just wanted to show you first what you do when you get a larger picture. Now, paints. Why did I use paints? Gosh, it's the only way you can get this large of an area colored quickly. Could I have done this with pencil? Yes, but my hand probably would have been cramped within an hour of starting to color. I think the easier way to do this is to truly use paints rather than anything smaller. Now, having said that, as I work on the details, on the trucks, on the apples, on the barn, the signs, and I will be coming in with various different shadowing to try to kind of make this look a little bit more artistic and not quite so coloring bookish. I will use pencils thin, and I'm going to be using Inktense pencils just to kind of put in some of the depth. So that's it for this segment. Stay tuned. I will have the details and using pencils in the next section.